Please listen carefully.
The Incredible Shrinking Weekend is a Spanish film, and it is written and directed by Mikel Caballero. Now, over the last few years, but I think ever since, especially Edge of Tomorrow, there's sort of been a resurgence in movies that follow a structural time loop, a formula that was made famous by Harold Ramis's groundbreaking and fantastic Groundhog Day. And The Incredible Shrinking Weekend follows this exact formula. Alba, who is a young 30-something woman who kinda likes to party and drink more than taking her life seriously, is on a weekend trip with friends and her boyfriend Pablo. And as the weekend unfurls, it turns out it's kind of a shitty weekend where her boyfriend dumps her because he's looking for a relationship that maybe has more of a future, maybe involves, actually settling down and having children, whereas she doesn't seem ready for something that serious. And at the same time, her friends are now, again, in a different headspace. They're leaving for another country, or they're planning on having children, and essentially they're in a very different sort of headspace than where Alma is at. And so she is forced to relive those 24 hours or that weekend over and over. However, the twist that Caballero brings to the project is that every loop is shortened by 1 hour each time. So she has 24 hours, then 23 hours, 22 hours. And the way that is visualized on screen is through the aspect ratio, where the film starts out in 1.85 to 1, and gradually as the time frame that Alba has becomes shorter and shorter, the edges of the screen start shrinking into the center, which serves as a visual reminder of the constraints that Alba is going through and contributes to the sort of sense of impending urgency and claustrophobia. The film very much reads like a fable about growing into an adult, even in the way that the loops are structured. In the beginning, she has 24, 23, 22 hours, and because it keeps repeating itself, because the days keep repeating themselves, Alba just basically drinks and parties and waits for the inevitable. But as time gets shorter and shorter, she actually tries to engage in meaningful relationships, and she tries to correct her errors. She learns things about herself, about others. She learns new skills, and she basically learns to optimize her time in a far better way, which that rapport with the time that we have left is certainly something that we all deal with as we get older. Maybe I certainly would have appreciated something that was maybe a little more challenging than just the inevitable, you've got to grow up and drink less and clean your room, as some famous Canadian public speakers would say. But ultimately, the film just works really well as a whole, and just has so many beautiful little filmic moments that it's certainly worth the watch, and was a very, very engaging experience at Fantasia. So as always, thanks very much for watching the video. Please be sure to hit the like button if you like the review, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, see ya!